They said her shadow frightened the chickens. They said even the goats would not look her in the eye. They said the gods themselves had shaped her before she drew her first breath. But no one saw what really mattered. The girl they called Monster would one day walk where no one else dared. So grab your popcorn, sit back, and prepare yourself for one of the most powerful stories you'll ever hear. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an inspiring story. And don't forget, click the link below this video to watch more story.
Subscribe for more content.
In the sun-baked village of Obi, clay walls glowed red at dawn. The elders' words were law, and the market was alive with traders drumming, shouting, and offering yams, cola nuts, and woven mats. It was here, in a small hut at the village's edge, that a girl named Amara was born. No one called her Amara. From her first breath, she was the bent one, the twisted child, the demon girl. She came into the world with a hunched back, her left arm weak and withered, but her eyes deep violet and impossible were something no one noticed. Her mother died in childbirth, leaving her father Chukwuemeka to raise her alone. Midwives whispered that the gods had rejected the child, but Chukwuemeka only held Amara close and said, "You are not broken, my daughter. The world is." And for 12 years, they lived in quiet love, the village murmuring behind their backs, but never daring to touch her father's fierce protection. But time is cruel. One afternoon, while tending yams under the blazing sun, Chukwuemeka collapsed. 3 days later, Amara watched her father's body lowered into the earth, her daughter Ngozi by her side, giggling softly. "Don't worry, child," Ifeoma whispered, her cold hand on Amara's crooked shoulder. "You'll always have a home with us." Amara believed her. By dawn of the next week, Ifeoma's kindness vanished like morning mist. Her eyes sharpened. Amara became a servant in her father's house, fetching water from the stream, grinding pepper, tending goats, and cooking for the family that had promised her refuge. And Ngozi laughed at every misstep, her wrapper swaying, her skin glowing with oils and sun-kissed beauty. Yet through every cruelty, Amara endured. For in her heart, the violet eyes hid a fire that no whip, no insult, no shadow could ever extinguish. Before the sun touched the red clay, she carried heavy pots to the stream, balancing water on her crooked back. Her withered arm trembled with each stir of the cooking pot. Ngozi's laughter was constant, her voice ringing across the courtyard like the sharp beat of a drum, reminding Amara of what she lacked: beauty, ease, freedom. One morning, as the rooster crowed and smoke rose from the market fires, a sound unlike any other shook Obi. Children stopped chasing one another. Even the goats seemed to freeze. The people ran toward the square, curiosity and fear mingling in their eyes. At the center of the marketplace stood a royal messenger, adorned in white robes embroidered with gold thread and the crest of the king of Ifdun. "Hear me, people of Ifdun," he boomed. The shadow sickness was known to all, a rare, deadly curse, leaving its victims as pale as moonlight and cold as iron. No one survived. But the messenger continued, raising a single finger. "There is hope. Only the moonflower, a sacred bloom that rises once every 20 years in the Valley of Shadows, can cure him." The market erupted in chaos. Young women screamed with excitement. Even Ngozi spun into light, her oil-glossed skin shining in the sunlight. Amara stood in the shadow of the compound wall, her violet eyes narrowing. She thought of her father's words, "You are not broken. The world is." She did not dream of crowns or beauty. She thought of suffering, of a boy she would never meet, a life hanging in the balance, and the courage required to act when all others faltered. "May I try to retrieve the moonflower?" From inside the compound came Ifeoma's voice, sharp as a machete. "You? Go to the Valley of Shadows? Look at yourself. You will be devoured by the forest before you reach the first tree. Stay here, crooked girl. Tend the goats and the yams where you belong." Gauzy giggled. "Imagine the prince running from you. How could anyone survive such a sight?" Amara said nothing, but in her heart, a fire began to burn brighter than the sun over Umuobi. Maidens from near and far adorned themselves in their finest wrappers, braided their hair with beads of amber and ivory, and painted intricate patterns of ochre and calmwood on their faces. They whispered of the moonflower, imagining the crowns, jewels, and praise they would earn if they returned victorious. One by one, they entered the Valley of Shadows. The trees moved. They spoke my name. A maiden cried, tearing at her hair. I ran, but they whispered secrets of death I could not answer. I could not answer. I am cursed. By the fourth day, every maiden had failed. Even Ngozi grew pale, her confidence replaced by panic. Her body ached from years of labor, her back hunched, her withered arm trembling, her dragging leg sore. But a different thought coursed through her. Courage does not need beauty, nor strength, nor admiration. It only needs purpose. She carried nothing else, no food, no water, only determination and memory of the suffering prince. The forest loomed before her, dark and forbidding. A wind whispered through the branches, and even the shadows seemed alive. The first step was agony. Her dragging legs scraped against jagged roots. Her back screamed with every movement. Her withered arm throbbed with pain. Yet she did not stop. "Why do you walk forward, crooked girl?" It hissed. Amara's voice, small but unwavering, echoed in the darkness. "Because someone needs help, and I know what it is to need it and receive none." The forest fell silent. She was alone, and she was brave.
The Valley of Shadows was alive in ways the villagers could never imagine. Twisted ebony trees arched over Amara, their bark rough as dried clay, and their leaves whispered secrets of the world beyond. Shadows flickered like snakes in the moonlight, stretching across the red earth. Yet Amara pressed on, each step, a battle against pain and fear. Hours passed, though time in the valley seemed strange, bending and folding like smoke in the wind. Her dragging leg bled where it scraped against roots. Her withered arm trembled violently with exhaustion, but her violet eyes burned with determination. She thought of Prince Kofi, frail and pale in the palace waiting for a cure. She thought of the helpless villagers, the suffering, and the injustices of her life. And still she walked. At last she reached a clearing bathed in silver moonlight. In the center stood a pool of water as clear as polished glass, and rising from its midst was the moonflower, petals luminous as stars against the darkness. Before she could step closer, a figure emerged from the shadows. She was taller than any woman Amara had ever seen, her skin shimmering like river water under moonlight, her eyes deep and knowing. She wore robes woven from silver threads that seemed alive, swirling with the light of the moon. "I am Ocean Mila, guardian of the moonflower," the woman said, her voice like the river over smooth stones. She stepped closer, her bare feet silent on the forest floor. "A crooked girl comes where beauty's feared to tread. Tell me, child, why do you seek the moonflower?" Amara straightened, though her back screamed in protest. "I seek it to save the prince, your ladyship. He is dying, and I cannot stand by while someone suffers." Ocean Mila smiled, a silver light rippling from her eyes. "Noble, but before you take the flower, you must prove your wisdom. I will ask you 3 riddles. Answer all correctly, and the moonflower is yours. Fail, and your spirit may wander these woods until dust claims it." Amara's heart pounded. The first riddle came swiftly, sharp as a spear. What is more powerful than the gods, more evil than the demons? The poor have it, the rich need it, and if you eat it, you will die. Amara closed her eyes, listening to the forest, recalling the stories her father, Chukwamika, had whispered beside the fire, riddles meant to sharpen her mind. Slowly, she opened her violet eyes. "Nothing," she whispered. Nothing is more powerful than the gods. Nothing is more evil than the demons. The poor have nothing. The rich need nothing. And if you eat nothing, you will die. Ocean Mila's smile deepened, approving. Clever child. The second riddle awaits. The clearing in the Valley of Shadows was silent, the moonflower glowing like a lantern in the night. Amara stood tall, though her crooked back protested and her dragging leg throbbed with every heartbeat. Ocean Mila's silver eyes studied her, as if weighing not only her mind but the strength of her heart. The second riddle, the guardian intoned, I have no wings, but I fly. I have no eyes, but I cry. Wherever I go, darkness follows me. What am I? Amara paused, listening to the wind sigh through the twisted trees. Remembering the journeys of clouds she had watched from her hut roof, their shapes drifting across the sky. She thought of the storms that washed over Umiobi, the rains that fed the yam fields, clouds that hid the sun and cast long shadows over the village paths. A cloud, she said softly but firmly. A cloud flies without wings. Rain is its tears, and shadows follow wherever it moves. Ocean Mila nodded, the silver light around her robes shimmering in approval. Impressive. But the third riddle will test not only your mind, but your understanding of life itself. The guardian stepped closer, her voice lowering like the rustle of dry leaves. I am always hungry and must always be fed. The finger I touch will soon turn red. What am I? Amara's heart raced. She thought of the fire she attended daily in Ifama's compound, the one that had punished her if it died. The one that burned would relentlessly, always demanding more. Her father had taught her the discipline of tending flames, of feeding the fire without fail. Fire, Amara whispered. Fire is always hungry. It must be fed wood, and if it touches your skin, your finger turns red from the burn. Ocean Mila circled her, eyes narrowing, then suddenly threw back her head and laughed. The sound was like wind whistling through empty trees. You are the first in 20 years to answer all three correctly. You have the wisdom to claim the moonflower. But now comes your true test. A mirror appeared before Amara, its surface reflecting not the crooked girl she knew, but a vision of herself tall, straight-backed, strong-armed, her legs even, her face radiant. Ocean Mila's voice was soft, yet firm. You may take the moonflower now, or accept this gift. Walk into the palace tomorrow as a perfect beauty. The prince will choose you instantly. All I ask is a piece of your heart, your kindness, your compassion. Without it, you will be powerful, loved and beautiful, but cold inside. Amara's eyes met her reflection. The life she had never known shimmered before her, easy, admired, untouchable. But her father's voice echoed in her mind. You are not broken. The world is. No, she said firmly. I will remain myself. I take only the moonflower. A life is at stake, and no crown, no beauty, no magic will replace courage or compassion. Ocean Mila studied her for a long, silent moment, then stepped aside. Then take the moonflower, Amara. The forest honors those who walk with heart. The moonflower pulsed softly in Amara's hands, a heartbeat of silver light against the darkness of the forest. Every step back through the Valley of Shadows was agony. Her dragging leg tore against jagged roots, her withered arm hung uselessly by her side, and her crooked back screamed in protest. Yet she moved forward, each step fueled by purpose, by the thought of Prince Kofi and the life hanging in the balance. The trees, which had whispered threats on her way in, now seemed to bow, parting to make way for her crooked form. Shadows still flickered and tried to ensnare her, but Amara's courage was a shield, stronger than any fear. The wind carried voices from the village, faint but insistent, as though the world itself cheered her forward. When dawn broke, painting the forest floor with gold and orange, she emerged near Umobi, bloodied and exhausted. The village was waking. Smoke spiraled from the rooftops, and traders were setting up their stalls. But before she could rest, a shadow moved toward her Ifema, her aunt and Njosi, her cousin, eyes glinting with greed. You've been gone all night, Ifema said. her voice sweet like honey laced with venom. "Did you find the flower, Amara? Surely you are too weak to have survived the forest alone." Amara's violet eyes narrowed, but she said nothing. She clutched the moonflower closer, its light a quiet pulse against the hatred before her. Ngozi laughed, stepping forward. "Give me that flower, crooked girl. Mother and I will deliver it to the prince, and he will see what true beauty looks like. You are nothing." Ifama moved quickly, reaching for the moonflower. Amara's hand tightened around the delicate petals. Her heart pounded, her body a battlefield of pain and determination. "You will not take what is not yours," she whispered, her voice steady despite the fatigue that threatened to collapse her. A brief struggle ensued. Ngozi yanked at her wrapper. Biama tried to snatch the flower, but Amara's grip was iron. She had walked through death and shadow to claim this gift. No greed, no mockery, no cruelty could wrest it from her now. Finally realizing brute force would not succeed, Ifeoma snarled and stepped back. "This is not over, crooked girl. You will pay for your insolence." Amara, trembling and bleeding, whispered a prayer to the ancestors. She had survived the forest. She'd faced greed and deceit. And now, more than ever, the moonflower's magic was hers, to deliver it to save a life, not to claim glory.
Amara's legs trembled beneath her as she approached the gates of the king of Ifdan's palace. Her crooked back protested, her withered arm throbbed, and her dragging leg left uneven marks in the palace's marble courtyard. Yet her spirit refused to yield. Inside the palace she could hear voices, laughter, excitement, and false pride. From the shadows of the grand hallway she saw Ifeoma and Ngozi, both dressed in the finest silks, beaded wrappers glinting like jewels in the morning sun. In Ngozi's hands the moonflower rested, its silver light fading slightly as though stolen of its magic. Amara's violet eyes narrowed. They had taken what was rightfully hers, yet she remained hidden, pressed against the carved stone wall, her breath shallow. She was unseen, invisible to the court that would soon be deceived. "They will say it was I who retrieved the moonflower," Ngozi whispered, her voice dripping with false heroism. "The prince will kneel, and I shall be queen." Ifeoma nodded, her painted face twisting in a smile of greed. "Yes, child, your courage is irrelevant. Let them see only what we present." Amara felt her heart ache, but she remembered her father's words. "You are not broken. The world is." She clenched the moonflower in her mind, remembering its journey through the valley of shadows, the riddles she had answered, and the sacrifice she had refused. The palace, filled with splendor, gold, and courtly chatter, could not mask the injustice. Somewhere, Prince Kofi lay pale and weak, relying on a courage that no one else seemed to possess. Amara whispered to herself, violet eyes burning. "They may try to steal the light, but the forest knows the truth. The moonflower will speak." And from her hiding place she waited, every muscle aching, preparing for the moment when justice would shine brighter than gold. Amara stayed pressed against the carved stone wall, every muscle screaming in protest, but her violet eyes never wavered from the scene before her. Ifeoma and Ngozi paraded the moonflower to the throne, their faces painted with false pride, while the court gasped and whispered in admiration. "The brave maiden has returned." Ifeoma stepped forward, bowing low, her eyes glinting with cunning. "Your Majesty, see the courage of my daughter. She has faced spirits, darkness, and death itself." The king's face hardened, and he leaned forward. "Tell me, girl," he said, voice commanding, "what spirits did you encounter? What trials did you face in the valley?" Ngozi faltered, her lips trembling. The forest. It was dangerous, Your Majesty, but I endured. Amara's heart pounded. She had to act. She had endured the valley, faced riddles, and refused the offer of false beauty. Now the truth could not be hidden. With a deep breath, she stepped out from the shadows, her crooked back pressed forward, her dragging leg carrying her pain, her violet eyes blazing like twin moons. "Lies!" she called, her voice cutting through the courtyard like a blade. Every head turned. Children gasped, courtiers whispered, and even the guards paused. I retrieved the moonflower. I answered her 3 riddles, and I refused to trade my heart for beauty. You did not risk the forest. You did not face the spirits. You stole my flower while I slept. Gasps swept through the court. Angazi's false pride faltered. Ifeoma's face went pale. The king's eyes softened as he studied Amara, his gaze lingering on the courage in her eyes, the truth in her voice. Prince Kofi, lying weak on his royal bed at the side of the throne, raised his head. The girl with violet eyes that held more light than the golden palace ever could. Amara stood straight, not fully because her body allowed it, but because her heart demanded it. In that moment, truth and courage shone brighter than any crown or gold, and the injustice of Ifeoma and Ngozi could no longer hide. The courtyard fell into a hush so complete that even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Amara's violet eyes shone, reflecting the silver glow of the moonflower as she stood tall, despite her crooked back and dragging leg. The king's face softened, his deep voice cutting through the silence like the strike of a ceremonial drum. "You have risked your life for my son," King Oba Adewale declared, his gaze steady on Amara. "You faced the valley of shadows when beauties and the proud refused. You answered the riddles of the guardian Oshunmila, and you chose compassion over false power. Speak now. Name your reward." "Your Majesty, I ask for nothing but that the prince be healed. The moonflower is not a prize to claim. It is a life to save." The crowd murmured. Gasps rippled as they realized the truth. The flower had been stolen by Ifeoma and Ngozi. Their eyes were wide with fear, faces pale, their lies exposed. "You stole the work of another and presented it as your own," the king said, voice now sharp as the edge of a spear. "Such deceit cannot go unpunished. What say you, Amara? What should become of them?" Amara looked at her cruel aunt and cousin. Memories of sweat, lashings, and mockery surged through her. "Let them understand the labor they forced on me and live with it, but let their lives be spared." The king nodded, impressed by her mercy. "So it shall be. 6 years as pig keepers, under supervision. Let them learn humility and the value of compassion." Amara turned her attention to the moonflower. The royal healer approached, carefully grinding its glowing petals into a silvery liquid. The other half was given to Amara, for her strength had been sapped by the forest and the trials she endured. Almost immediately, color returned to Prince Kofi's face. His breathing steadied, strength flowed back into his limbs, and Amara felt the warmth of life returning to her body, her crooked back beginning to straighten, her withered arm filling with strength. The moonflower's magic was powerful, and it honored the bravery of the heart. The palace courtyard was alive with astonishment. Prince Kofi sat up on his bed, strength returning to his limbs, the silver glow of the moonflower fading into the warmth of the morning sun. Amara stood beside him, her body straightening fully for the first time, her withered arm now strong, her dragging leg healed. Yet it was not just her body that had transformed. Her courage, compassion, and heart shone brighter than any crown. The court watched in awe. Even the gilded mirrors of the palace could not capture the light that radiated from her violet eyes. King Oba Adewale rose from his throne, smiling with pride. "Amara, you have proven that true worth lies not in beauty or wealth, but in heart, courage, and compassion. The prince chooses you." Prince Kofi took her hand, his eyes full of gratitude and wonder. "Amara," he said softly, "you walked through death when others fled. You chose kindness over power. I choose you not for your beauty, but for the heart that shines brighter than any jewel." Tears of joy streamed down Amara's face as the palace erupted in celebration. The crowd cheered and songs filled the air, singing of the crooked girl who became a queen through courage, not vanity. Ifeoma and Ngozi, once cruel and deceitful, were led away by the palace guards to serve their 6-year sentence tending pigs. They cast glances at Amara, now transformed, yet she met their eyes not with hatred, but calm understanding. The world is harsh, she whispered to herself, but cruelty need not be met with cruelty. In the days that followed, Amara and Prince Kofi ruled together, known as the Queen of Courage and the Prince of Wisdom. They built homes for orphans, protected the weak, and judged with fairness. The story of the Moonflower and the Valley of Shadows spread across the kingdom, teaching generations the power of heart over vanity. And Amara often said to the younger villagers, her violet eyes sparkling with wisdom, "Your worth is not in your body, your wealth, or your beauty. It is in your heart. Guard it well, for that is where true power lies." Thus the crooked girl became a queen, not because she sought glory, but because she carried courage, compassion, and unwavering heart, the greatest treasures of all.
Subscribe for more content.